Good morning. We are facing something that, if we think about it carefully, humanity has never experienced before. Every time an artifactum enters history, an epochal change takes place. In other words, when human being creates something that produces an essential change in humanity's relationship with the world, a profound shock occurs that forces human beings to rethink their place in the world, among others, and within themselves. It is a crisis of our existential geography. This happened with metal, writing, the wheel, the printing press, the Industrial Revolution. Humanity has always found itself standing on ever-changing ground that has had to be rethought, understood, learned, and managed, and humanity itself has had to rethink itself as well. But what we now stand upon is something different from everything that came before. The Industrial Revolution of the 18th century acted upon the physical forces of human labor. What is happening now touches something far deeper, the intelligent dimension, that which we had perhaps too simplistically assumed to be an exclusively human prerogative. Today, a machine speak, write, generate image, compose music, and many other things. It doesn't know what it says or does. That's true. But it says and does this thing, however. And at times, technically speaking, even better than we do. Pope Leo XIV, in the encyclical Magnifica Humanitas, describes precisely this. We are facing a new situation in which AI interlaced with the fabric of everyday life, shapes decision-making processes, and deeply influence the collective imagination. Never before has humanity held so much power over itself. This certainly immerses us in the wonderful and challenging world of Christian anthropology. Because the issue, as the encyclical itself points out, is not technological, but anthropological. This is precisely the first key to understanding the moment through which we are living. We are not facing a new device, but a cultural transformation. We are living within a new situational geography that touch one of the fundamental aspects of the being human, relationships. Our relationship with ourselves, with the others, with nature, with reality, and also with God. For us who study Populorum Progressio deeply, this encyclical arises as a living continuation, and Magnifica Humanitas states this explicitly. In Populorum Progressio, Paul sees offer a conception of peace that is not limited to absence of war, but is realized through the path toward integral human development. The transition from the less human condition of life to more human ones. A process that concerns every person and the whole person. And On that basis, Paul VI was able to affirm that development is, in fact, a new name for peace. Let us think about that phrase as we speak about algorithm and also data. Development is the new name for peace. Therefore, we cannot avoid asking ourselves, does artificial intelligence bring us closer to that peace or farther away from it? Does it make us more human or reduce us to efficiency, productivity, and data? The encyclical in paragraph 82 state that by integral human development, we mean a process in which the growth of individuals and peoples include all dimensions of existence and open the future to coming generation as well. And here, Magnifica Humanitas opens social doctrine and new horizons. Among the goods universally destined for all people, we must now also include new forms of property, patents, algorithms, digital platforms, technological infrastructures, and data. When these goods become concentrated in the hand of a few, without adequate form of access and exchange, a new imbalance is created that contradict the new universal destination of good and extend the gap between the included and the excluded. Algorithms also have a social function. Data must also serve the common good. Referring us to Sollicitudo Re Socialis, written to commemorate the 20th anniversary of the Populorum Progressio, Magnifica Humanitas state that economic mechanisms managed by the powerful structurally favor their own interests and suffocate the weak, and therefore must be subjected to the rigorous ethical judgment, not merely technical evaluation. Allow me to emphasize something that touched me deeply. Magnifica Humanitas doesn't come alone. Leo XIV chose his name, as he himself explained, precisely because Leo XIII confronted the first great industrial revolution through Rerum Novarum. To take that name in this context means that the pontiff deeply understands that we are not speaking about technological evolution, but about cultural transformation. And this should lead us to reflect on the extent to which we ourselves are involved in this new cultural process through education and participation. Today, in the face of this new revolution, the Church offers us a new patrimony of social doctrine. The encyclical has two biblical images. The first is Babel, the grand project built without reference to God sacrificing human dignity for the sake of efficiency, attempting to reduce the mystery of the human person to data and mere output. The result of Babel is not unity, but dispersion. The second is Nehemiah rebuilding Jerusalem. First he prayed, then he listened, and then he gathers the family together, entrusting each one with a section, a part of the wall. The city is reborn, not through the initiative of a single individuals, but through the shared responsibility of the entire people. A work that places God at the center and reveal relationship before reveal stone. The question the encyclical poses to us today is precisely this. Are we rebuilding a new Babel? Or are we rebuilding together the walls of fraternal coexistence? If the change is not merely technological but anthropological, then we need not only technical education, not merely moral education, but a broad anthropological formation. This formation must help people understand who they are within this new existential geography, what makes them original and unique, and why the human person must always remain at the center. In other words, a formation that shapes people capable of governing change, not merely adapting to it. Before we close, two things deserve particular attention. First, technology is never neutral. We often hear that technology is neutral, that it can be used for good or for ill, but that is simply not true. By the very fact that is an artefactum, something created by human being, it is always born with an intention. Its creation is made up of choices, and those choices carry consequences in the short, medium, and long term. None of this is neutral. The way technology is used may add a new moral dimension that either reinforce or reduce the original one, but it can never erase it. The second thing, very important, is the human limits. Contemporary philosophies such as posthumanism and transhumanism seek to abolish human limits at any cost. But the human limits are not always negative, nor are they simple obstacles to eliminate. Human limits are not only part of the human nature. At this time, they are precisely what make relationship with other possible, what creates our need for one another, and even what open us to the dialogue with God. Human limits make us family, make us community, and place the very foundation upon which communion is built. Pope Leo XIV concludes Magnifica Humanitas with Magnificat, with Mary, the Virgin Mary, who sings of hope before the promise is fulfilled. He invites us not to be afraid to get our hands dirty in the work of our own time. We must all see ourselves as builders of Magnifica Humanitas, this magnificent humanity. This is our task as well. Not to wait for AI to fix itself, nor to fear it as, however, it were an certain destiny. Instead, we must step into the mood of our own age with wisdom, faith, and shared responsibility. Each of us tending our own section of the wall with our eyes fixed on the good of our children and with the confidence that integral human development remains, even in the age of the artificial intelligence, the new name for peace. Thank you.